remains of the day. In the first one, you are a woman in love with the real estate that she feels she belongs. And in the other one, you are in love with a butler that is incapable to express his feeling. What can you tell me about these two experiences? Because the movie are really amazing and really fun.
Well, those films, if you've seen them, I don't know whether you've seen them anyway. If you have seen them, then my luck was I got to work with Anthony Hopkins twice. And he was a great teacher and he was a wonderful person to work with. The scripts were amazing. Margaret Schlegel, the character of Margaret Schlegel, is the only time I've ever written to a director and said, I really know how to play this woman. Because she was like all of the early feminist teachers and women who fought for education for women. You know, we forget. What can I do to stop that noise? Okay, good. We forget that our being educated is really very recent. You know, can you imagine not having access to education? So Margaret, who was highly educated, was fighting for this. There she was at the turn of the 20th century and looking into the future and thinking, oh my goodness, soon we'll have equal pay. How wrong she was. Isn't it disappointing? And then with Remains of the Day, my connection with that was because my grandmother went into service as a servant when she was 13. She also had no education, nor indeed did my father. And when she went to work, it was at a time during the First World War. And this is an interesting story, actually. She went to work for a childless couple. They had no children. And when the Zeppelins came over, the wife would leave, saying she was scared and she would go and stay with her mother. And my grandmother was raped by her employer, became pregnant, kept the child, and then they discovered it had happened to lots of other young servant girls, because that was a way of sort of forced surrogate motherhood. So, you know, in our families we have these ancient histories, intergenerational traumas, and that woman, my grandmother, really informed her experience, really informed my creation of Miss Kenton. You know, someone who can't really, it's so hard for them to find a life of their own. It's so deformed, service of that kind. And my grandmother she was never really happy or fulfilled. So yeah, they both have very strong, powerful connections to my ancestors.